Hi, welcome to Kaplan and myself, Mark Baines. In this video, I want to talk about my Module 12 Business Finance course. First of all, in Hong Kong, I'm quite famous for achieving regular prize winners and achieving very, very high pass rates. How do I do that? What I select is what I believe to be the best past paper questions. This gives you the most efficiency and effective learning for all of the Module 12 subject areas. For example, the official learning pack is over 1,200 pages. My set of custom exam-focused notes are around about 500 pages. So much more efficient, much more effective for learning. Also, what I provide as well is my own recommended exam solutions. These show you better how to answer in the real exam, score the marks, and of course what's important in Module 12 is passing that Module 12 exam. My questions are included alongside lots and lots of examples, and the notes that you'll receive on my course here at Kaplan are exactly the same set of notes that I'm famous for teaching at all of the Big Four. I'm a senior lecturer here at Kaplan and I'm the leading Module 12. In fact, I teach all of the Big Four, not only the Module 12, but also the final capstone exam as well. So you're in very, very safe hands here if you was to join our Kaplan course. What I want to do in this actual video, first of all, an introduction to Kaplan, a little bit about our study methods and course materials and the exam. I want to spend a little bit of time on my teaching approach, so I brought along my set of notes to give you guys a little feel for how I get my students passed in the actual exams, before finally going on to exam preparation, a little bit about our course platforms, discounts, and if you've got any Q&A at the end, I'll leave you guys with some important information if you've got any questions and actual answers. First of all, here at Kaplan, we have trained 80% of the accountants in Hong Kong, and we're the only provider that provides tuition to all of the Big Four. We're the only one private institution in Hong Kong providing a full range of accountancy qualifications. You'll see on the left-hand side there, as well as the HICPA, I've also taught Advanced Business Finance, ACCA courses, as well as CPA Australia. So again, you're in very, very safe hands here for my tuition on the QP actual course. First of all, what materials do you actually get? There's an exam strategies booklet. That's a general booklet that we hand out on all of our actual courses. What's important on my course is the enhanced class notes. These are custom written for each and every exam diet, and like I mentioned earlier, these are exactly the same set of notes that the Big Four get and what I'm very, very famous for in Hong Kong. I include many, many past exam questions. Some we go through in class, some I also leave for you guys to practice at home, and if that's not enough, you also get an enhanced exam kit as well. So those are all of the past exam papers if you want to practice more questions, that is. On my course, you get a mock exam as well, so you can practice before the actual real exam. On some of our other courses on our Platinum, you also get 2 mock exams as well. Let's talk a little bit about the exam format and the actual style. First of all, at this professional level, there are 4 modules. First of all, you have an exam, you also have a workshop, and HICPA have set a maximum of 2 modules at the first attempt. If you pass the workshops, no need to resit the actual workshops. Our actual focus on the course is not the workshops. The workshops are not too difficult to pass. As long as you've got an opinion, as long as you provide a voice in the workshops, that's fine to get through. Our major objective is passing that exam. That's the difficulty, and that's what I'm focused on. That's what our course is trying to do. Also, you'll see at the bottom on the left-hand side, recently HICPA, they had talked about introducing a 4-attempt rule. They've now stopped that. That was basically restricting students to only 4 attempts at the actual exam. That rule now has gone, so that's good news for you guys. You can have as many attempts at the exam as you wish. And you don't need to do the workshops before the actual exam. You can do them afterwards, although the preferred choice is the workshops before the actual exam. Also, the workshops, they are being delivered online. Of course, recently with the pandemic that we've had, that is now an online format. And if you are coming from the associate level, if you've passed all of the associate module exams or you've got exemptions, that's another route into this professional level. Let's get into our module 12. First of all, what is module 12 about? Well, of course, it's called business finance. So develop technical knowledge in business finance. That is one key area. Things such as debt, equity finance. But look, there's many other things here involved. We've got things like strategy management, there's performance evaluation, there's treasury management looking at things like risks and what we can do to manage risks, business valuation, corporate restructuring. The syllabus in Module 12 is very wide and it involves many areas. Here's a little feeling for the size and the syllabus content that we have. You'll see the first few are about strategy. Explain the principles in implementing, monitoring business strategy, evaluate, advise on strategic capabilities. There's a lot of risks and risk management in this actual syllabus. There you can see the third one down. Consider methods for managing business entity risks. So strategy, risks, performance, also things look at the end. You've got, if you look at the third one from the end, things like evaluating corporate reorganization. We look at things like management buyouts, management buy-ins, demergers, carve-outs. There's a lot involved in this actual syllabus, and even things at the end there, such as business failure, liquidations. So what happens when a business fails, and again, what do we do about it in those sets of circumstances? So many syllabus areas. All of these four modules, modules 11 to 14, they all carry a 3-hour examination, and you'll see there's a section A that involves case study questions, 50%. HICPA then calls section B essay short questions. They're not in module 12 essay short questions. They are just simply mini case scenarios. No matter whether section A or section B in module 12, they all require importance of application, using the scenario, using the facts and issues to answer and provide advice. This is all supporting what the HICPA call the core enabling competences. So these sets of exams are a higher level. They are not simply repeating a theory or repeating a model. They're actually wanting you to apply an actual model. And you'll see that there in that first core enabling competency. You can see, look, in the red, critical analysis. They'll give you facts, they'll give you data, they'll give you issues, and what they're wanting you to do is provide advice. So the role in Module 12 is almost like that you are a board member on the board of directors. They're actually giving advice as to how the company should proceed, what should the company be doing, and why should it be doing it. That's our critical analysis. We've also got problem solving as well. So the act of defining a problem, determining a root cause, identifying, prioritizing, selecting alternatives for a solution. Something else they like to do in Module 12 when they present a problem to you, they want you to think about what would be a good model to use, what would be a good theory here to apply to actually solve that actual problem. There's other things here as well. You can see communication, ethics is quite strong as well. HICPA want ethical and good accountants that can adequately communicate. So all of these are all the core enabling competences that HICPA are wanting to see. We have these new one-year rules for all of the modules. In Module 12, although we do have updates here, you can see this is a little amended listing requirements for the main board and the GEM board. These are not so crucially important as some of the other modules. Let me give you an example. In QP Module 11 in financial reporting, you have accounting standards. Now, when there's a new accounting standard, HICPA will generally be very, very keen to test that accounting standard. In our Module 12, these are not so crucially important. So although here there's an update on the requirements, it doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be that keen to test this so sudden. So these are not so crucial. Not a lot in Module 12 tends to change. Things like risk management has been the same for many, many years. Setting strategy and strategic models. Things like PESTEL, SWOT analysis. These models have been around for many, many years. So these new one-year rules, these are not so crucially important as maybe some as our other modules. Like I mentioned earlier, what I want to do is give you guys a little feel for how I get my students so effectively passed in Module 12. So I want to go through my little QP Module 12 teaching approach. For that, what I want to do is I just want to, go back to my set of notes just here. So if I just put on, this is my little set of notes that you guys get. Like I said, around about 500 pages. And what I do with all of the Learning Pack chapters, we've got 15 Learning Pack chapters. I like to break them up into 5 sets of notes. So these 5 sets of notes will be around about 500 pages or just over. If you know each and every page, you can get an extremely good pass in Module 12. Here's my set 1 of 5 notes. These are very, very concise. They are very, very exam focused. First of all, in this set 1 set of notes, there's a little introduction, as you would expect, to what business finance is actually testing. And then look, we're then straight into our Learning Pack chapters. What we've actually got in Module 12 is 15 Learning Pack chapters, but I don't go through in order of the Learning Pack. What I like to do is look at how chapters relate to one another. So for instance here, chapters 1 and 2 are looking at strategy. Chapter 15 is looking at ethics, and chapter 8 is looking at performance. And the reason why I've rearranged the order here is because typically in section A, this is where you see largely these chapters being tested. So in my little introduction here, this is where I talk about the topics in business finance, the strategy, the ethics, the performance. But most of all, you will see there's a large part of the syllabus based on financial management. We mentioned earlier things like risk. We talked about, of course, the business financing, the debt, the equity. And then, of course, the reason why we're raising finance is because we want to invest money in things like projects or maybe mergers and acquisitions, buying a new business. All of that involves investment. So in section A, that's that one large case study we talked about earlier. The reason why set 1 set of notes involves strategy, ethics, and performance is because, like I mentioned earlier, that is the case study that largely involves those areas there. The other sets of notes, set 2 to 5, these are largely based around what tends to be tested in section B, and these are the more technical areas. Those are the financial management areas. I then, during the actual course, talk about, importantly, what to do before the actual exam. And then, of course, what's very, very crucial is what to do during the actual exam. And during the actual exam, it's all about that application that I was mentioning about earlier. So we go through lots of case study technique, analyzing, designing, and implementing. Let me just show you here the Module 12 little analysis here of past papers. So included in my set of notes, we go through a little analysis here, showing you guys, look, we can see we've got 15 chapters involved in Module 12, and a couple of things I want to just highlight. First of all, if you go back some years ago, This is a number of chapters that were being tested. So 7 chapters out of 15. Some exams, just 4 or 5 chapters being tested. But if you look more recently here at Module 12, this is when we was introduced to Module 12. The first exam was in June 2021. You will see many chapters being tested here. Look, we've got 11 out of 15 chapters being tested, 10 out of 15, 11 out of 15. Just in the last exam there, you can see 9 out of 15. They are testing a wider range of chapters, which means that importantly to get a good pass in Module 12, you need to know each and every chapter. There's very, very little question spotting here. You have to be, effective in all of these 15 actual chapters. The other thing that I want to point out as well, look, you can see the Chapter 1, Chapter 2. These are largely tests in Section A. A is where it's being tested. Here was a little B question just there. But you can see Chapters 1 and 2 largely A. If you look at Performance, Chapter 8, again, look, you can see largely Section A, that large case scenario, and Ethics, Chapter 15, largely Section A. So this is the reason why I rearranged the Learning Pack chapter format so you can see the linkages between each of these chapter areas. So we talk about the interconnections that we have, the relationships, and the structure of the actual exam. So when you open up that exam book, there are no surprises. You are ready for each and every area. Then what I then do, let's start with our Chapter 1. So Chapter 1, we have many, many models. This is on our strategy just here. So what I do with Chapter 1 is first of all introduce all of the important models here. So I've mentioned SWOT already, but before we start getting into depth into each of the models, first of all I point out, look, whenever we start to develop a strategic plan, there are 3 basic steps. First of all, we need to perform some analysis. We need to understand where are we now, where do we want to go. Next then, we then start coming up with strategic decision choices. So we're thinking about how are we going to get to where we want to go. And then once we've made that choice, we then need to put it into action. So that's our strategic implementation, and of course monitoring that we're on course to achieve it. That is our control. So what I do a lot of in Module 12 in my course is do lots of little mind maps here. So you can see what each chapter is about, what the syllabus is about, before then drilling down into lots of detail. So once we've looked at what Chapter 1 is about, next then, I then start to get into greater detail. So what do we mean by a strategic plan? What do we mean by a SWOT analysis? And as we start going through each of the models, I also flag up when this was tested. So for instance, SWOT, this has not been tested for many, many years. This was last tested in December 2010. It was also tested, you can see there, in Section A. That was for 14 marks. More recently, we've had questions on models such as the 9M's resource audit model. This was tested, you can see, in December 20. This was for 12 marks. So I go through model after model after model, but what's very important is practicing questions. So during my course, I don't do education first and then a separate revision. I like to do this together. So what we do in the course, we first of all have a little look what's involved in the chapters. We then go through the models. What are the theories? What are the models saying? And then straight after, we get into question practice. I think it's very important that application, the problem-solving skills, that we are practicing lots and lots of questions. So what I've got here is lots of past exam questions now. This is on our Chapter 1. The first part of Chapter 1, I think I've got something like 5 questions just here. You also get my recommended solutions as well. So it makes it easier to see where the marks are coming from and what you should be discussing here to get a very, very good pass. So that's one question from December 2021. Another question here from December 2020. I select what I think are the best past questions to practice and be aware of. Here's another question from June 2021. Here's a very recent question here. This is from just June 2020. And then that SWOT one, surely they have to test SWOT sooner or later. So I've also included here, this would be that question all the way back from December 2010. Here it is, where I was asking you, for instance, about a SWOT analysis. So we do theory, we do models, we then practice questions. Moving on, in chapter 1, we've now looked at where we are, where do we want to go. Next, how we're going to get there. So this is then introducing our strategic decision choices, generating ideas, how we're going to get there, generic strategies, developing new products or new markets, or investing in new businesses, merger acquisitions, and then again the models. The models, question practice, that's what I like to do. I like to go through topic by topic, making sure that you guys understand each and every area. This is how my students get prizes. This is how I achieve very, very high pass rates. So my efficiency, my effectiveness, that's why the Big Four choose me. That's why I'm their #1 preferred choice. Let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation then, and let's continue on, because not just me saying this, let me show you some of our students' feedback and what students have said. This is from our Big Four course, just in the last diet. Which areas are particularly good? And this is what students said. They said exam focused. Lots of exercises, lots of examples for practice and illustrations. Very clear, detailed explanations, good instruction. The lecturer gave many real-world business cases and past exam questions for illustration. Like I say, practicing past exam questions, that's the most important for getting ready for Module 12. It's that application skills that I mentioned about earlier on. Next one, it said the lecturer provided tailor-made answers to those past paper questions. These answers have a stronger link with what we learned in the notes and are more concise, to the point, and easy to understand. That's very important to understanding what you need to write to get a good pass in Module 12, maybe even a prize. That's what all my prize winners have learned. That's what I've taught them over the years. Able to illustrate the concepts with various past paper questions. So again, you can see we do lots and lots of past paper questions. I select what I think are the best questions for each and every area. So why choose Mark? Well, many reasons why you should come on my actual course. If you look down the left-hand side there, Big Four firms, experienced prize winners, there's actually 8 reasons why you should come on my course. First of all, the Big Four. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm the only lecturer trusted and chosen by all of the Big Four firms. That is for all of the QP Module 12 as well as the capstone training. My experience, I mentioned earlier, I've been teaching here at Kaplan for over 20 years. Not only the QP, but also ACCA, CIMA, CPA Australia as well. Many, many prize winners. You've seen my course notes. They are concise. They are exam focused. You only get these notes on my course. I write them. I don't share them with any other lecturers. It's only on my course that you get those. Also, if you think about your exam is in English. You need to answer in English. So doesn't it make better sense that your course should be delivered in English? Now, I know many of you guys listening here, English will not be your first language, but not a problem. The course is recorded, and when you listen back, you can slow the speed down. You can re-listen so you can get on top of what I've been talking about, what I've been saying, and importantly, how to pass the Module 12 exam. I've taught over 25,000 public as well as Big Four students, and my results show that. I can teach you how to pass the Module 12 exam. So of course, all you guys listening, I hope to see you very, very soon on my Module 12 course. Here it is. It's a new package we're offering. Like I say, I integrate the revision and the education. We go through topic by topic rather than splitting those out separately. We have many, many hours together. We have 20 sessions, 3 hours each, and my course runs from mid-March, so very, very soon through to mid-June. We recap, we update the knowledge, we go through lots of past questions, and you get one mock exam as well. That's written by myself, so that gives you extra material, extra things to be practicing. Here at Kaplan, we also offer some free course platforms as well. So if you're studying some of the other modules, these may help you on some of the other modules. We also provide lots of discounts as well. There's an early enrollment discount here if you enroll before the 31st of March. And if you're enrolling on one of our platinum courses through the online store, there's $500 as well as discounts if you're a Grant Thornton, Moore Hong Kong or RSM student as well. Our online store can be found just here, store.kaplan.com.hk, or you can use, of course, the QR code. So you can go through, have a little look there, look at all the options available to you. And if you've got any question and answers, if you want to contact staff here at Kaplan, those are our telephone numbers there. We've also got emails as well as our website. And we're based here in Causeway Bay, just about a 5-minute walk away from the MTR station. Thank you very much for listening. Hope to see you on my Module 12 course very, very soon. Thank you. See you soon, and bye-bye.